Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Nidhi, a corporate trainer, NLP coach and a sound therapist. Until recently, I used to be a proud Singapore girl. Well, yes, I used to fly with Singapore Airlines, one of the best airlines in the world. I flew with the airline for 10 years, 5 years as a non-ranking crew, got promoted to a leading stewardess, was there in that role for another 5 years. I also used to be a trainer with Singapore Airlines for almost about 6 years. And here I am today to share my experiences, my tips with all of you, because what better use can I have with all that experience but to share it with you guys. And if being a cabin crew is your dream, I can help you to make it into a reality. You're watching my series on how to become a cabin crew. Well guys, I'm really happy to be doing all these videos because I get to share my experience with you, my tips with you, and I'm really glad to be on this journey with you. Really happy that I could contribute. So in today's video, I thought let's talk about a very important part in that process of becoming a cabin crew. And honestly, a lot of people do ask me this question all the time, which is, what are the requirements to become a cabin crew? Which means, what does an airline look for in a candidate when they actually select you to become their cabin crew? So I'm going to tell you these few things that I have picked up with my research, with the help of all my friends that I have in the industry, and I've compiled it together for you guys so you could benefit from this video. Nonetheless, I'm going to still tell you, before you apply for a specific airline, please go to their website, do your research, because different airlines have different requirements. Age, the first and the foremost criteria. Well guys, you have to be 18, legally 18, to be able to work for an airline. But again, depending upon the position that you're applying for in an airline, and also depending upon the experience that you have, and also depending upon what an airline is looking for, this age requirement and criteria could change. Like in my case, when I applied for Singapore Airlines, they required for candidates that they were taking from India to have a degree. So I have to be obviously 18 plus to have a proper degree. Height. Now we all know that we have to close those overhead compartments. You just can't get away. Well, yes, one of the jobs that cabin crew needs to do, and something that none of us likes, is to close those overhead compartments. And to be able to do that, you have to have a certain height. So yes, there is a certain minimum height criteria. It's definitely different for guys and girls. So again, go to the website and take a look. They would specifically mention. But again, there's one thing that I want you to also know here is that it's not just a minimum height. They do have a requirement for maximum height too. So yes, if you're really tall, that could also be something that you might have to look out for, because you know, an aircraft is only as much as tall. BMI, body mass index. If you haven't heard of this before, it's basically the ratio of your height in weight, and it has to be in proportion. So on an average, for both male and female, the body mass index has to be between 18.9 to 24.9. It does not mean that you'll be completely ruled out if you do not fall in between this category, but your body mass has to look proportionate to your height. So it's best to be within this range. So start working on it. Language. Well, for example, Singapore Airlines, because it's a multiracial airline, it does not really have any specific requirement when it comes to language, but it's always great if you know different languages. And of course, if you're applying for a German Airlines, and then if you know that language, it's definitely going to be a thumbs up for you. Education. So most airlines require you to at least have passed out from the school, but again, depending upon whether you're applying from overseas and the airline that operates in that particular country requires you to have a work pass or an employment pass, and depending upon the rules that are there in that country, they would require you to have a degree and a certain other educational qualifications. So check the website out, and they would have specifically mentioned it as to what are the requirements in terms of the educational qualification that you need to have. Professional qualification. Now, when I say professional qualification, which means that it's fantastic if you have some customer service experience, if you have an airline experience, that's brilliant. But if you don't have either of these, you don't have to worry about, because they also do look at your interpersonal skills, your communication skills. So work on that and make sure when you're presenting yourself at the interview, don't just do all these things when you're talking to the interviewer, but present yourself in terms of how you communicate, what are your interpersonal skills throughout the interview whenever you're talking to anybody else. So that's the tip that I'm going to give you here. But yes, this is one of the requirements if you are applying for a job of a cabin crew, that you should be able to communicate and you should have good interpersonal skills, because you know what, you have to talk to people up in the air. Vision. Now, if you do not have a perfect vision, do not worry. That's not going to rule you out. But as long as you can get that perfect vision with glasses or contact lenses, then that's important. Because when you go for the cabin crew interview, one, you should be wearing glasses, you should be wearing your contacts. Just in case if I miss that out later, I just want to mention that now. But yes, you should be able to see perfectly using glasses or contact lenses. But if you have a perfect vision, 20 by 20, then that's fantastic. And also when it comes to medical tests, an airline does put you through hearing tests to make sure that your hearing is perfect, because when you're in that emergency situations, you have to make sure that you listen to announcements carefully. And there are a lot of other medical tests as well that you will know along the way, but I just want you to know that medical tests and passing them is one of the requirements. And now that we're talking about your physical fitness, I also do want to mention about your skin, because a lot of times airlines do put you through one of the rounds of skin tests. I remember doing that for British Airways. I remember doing that for Jet Airways. So that's one of the requirements, that you need to have good skin. I understand that you could have that small little acne that could have just come up because of that nervousness that you have because of the interview. But then you have to make sure that you have good skin. You're the face of an airline. They want to make sure that you look pretty and people admire you and travel with the airline. Scars and tattoos. So one, if you have any visible scars, please make sure that you cover them up with concealer. Tattoos. If you have any visible tattoos, that could be something that could prevent them from bringing you on board. There will be some airlines that will ask you to wear the uniform. Anything else on your skin cannot become part of their uniform. Also, some of the airlines might ask you to do a swim test for them, testing you for water survival skills and your confidence in water. But yes, this is one of the requirements. So if you're really, really serious about taking up a job of a cabin crew, I would suggest that go get some swimming lessons and get some confidence in water, because it's always going to be an advantage for you. Last and probably not the least, but I really, really do want to tell you guys this. One of the major requirements by an airline if you're applying for a job of a cabin crew is to be able to smile. Smile, smile, and lots of smile, because regardless of what situation you are, what passenger are you talking to, whether your colleagues are angry with you or your passengers are not so happy with you, or when you're serving food, or when people run to you because they want to take a picture with you, you will have to use that smile a lot. So this is what I tell everyone all the time, that guys, remember, a smile can make and break a lot of things. So you have to decide whether you're going to make this interview or break this interview with your smile. So this brings us to the end of this video, and I really hope what I've shared will be beneficial to all of you. If you really like my video, please press like and subscribe to my channel. As I always say, you're not alone, we're in this together. So see you next time. Love you.